As the season is changing, I'm finding all of the opportunities to lean into the cozy season, like starting the kettle on the stove for some tea or hot chocolate, or even putting the chicken into the Instapot or crock-pot to make some chicken soup for tonight's dinner. We're all thinking of ways that we can be cozy and healthy and building that immune system. And the water that we drink plays a big part in that immunity. It's so nice to be able to turn on the faucet and fill up a pot for making chicken broth or even using to feed my sourdough starter so that the water I'm feeding my sourdough starter doesn't have any chlorine in it or that things that are going to mess with those natural bacteria. That's why I've been loving my Waterdrop undersink filtration system. It uses 8 stages of filtration to reduce PFAs, chlorine, lead, and fluorides, so the water I cook and bake with is clean and safe. And with its 20 times larger dirt adhesion area, I don't have to worry about clogging. I actually installed this filtration system myself while my husband was at work. It's so easy to put in and it doesn't take up much space underneath the sink. It really is a set it up and forget about it situation. I love how it installs right there on the wall underneath the sink. Another thing I'm absolutely loving is the Waterdrop glass pitcher. And because it's made of glass, it looks really nice sitting on the table while we're serving guests. It fills up really fast, and this is like a quick and easy way to get some water out on the table for dinner time. It has a 6-stage filter that reduces chlorine, rust, odors, and bad taste, but it also remineralizes the water with electrolytes like potassium, calcium, sodium, and magnesium. That makes it healthier and even helps with recovery and energy, which is helpful during this busy fall season. So whether it's filling up the crock pot to make that chicken soup, or feeding my sourdough starter, or putting their cute glass pitcher out on the table for dinner, Waterdrop makes it simple and easy to keep my family healthy. Follow the link and check out their prime fall deals that they have going on. You can save up to $700 off from Waterdrop Filter from October 7th through the 8th. So don't miss out on this limited time offer. Thanks so much for Waterdrop for sponsoring today's video. The chicks that we got last spring are finally laying their eggs. And so that means we're getting about a dozen eggs a day. All but for one hen who is being extra broody at this moment and sitting on a clutch of eggs. So we'll have to see what comes of those eggs. And we had a couple roosters that are making some great chicken stock in the crock pot. On baking days like these, it's nice to have a batch of dough that you can make multiple things out of. And that's why I love this classic recipe that was handed down by my mom. These are the rolls that we make every holiday, but they also make amazing cinnamon rolls. And today we're also going to be making donuts, and we're going to be making my mom's recipe for apple pie as well. I just can't help myself. I have to make pies when it gets into the cooler season and the holidays are coming up. Plus, it's just good to practice those pie making skills, not just once a year. I like to start out by putting my butter in the freezer ahead of time so it's nice and cold, almost completely hard. And then I shred it here in the cheese grater and mix it up with the flour. I know my mom used to use shortening to make her pie crust when we were growing up, and she always made amazing pie crust. And it wasn't until we became older, and I think it was my brother who said, "Hey, Ma, you should be making your pie crust with butter. It would taste a lot better." And so she switched over to butter, and we've both been making it with butter ever since. So I like to start out with 2 sticks. I like to have a little bit of extra dough so that we can do plenty with decoration, but also having, just plenty of dough to go around. So it's 2 sticks of butter and 2 cups of flour. I mix the flour and the butter and a little bit of salt all together. And then I add 4 to 6, maybe a little bit more, tablespoons of ice cold water. And I do like to pour it out onto a surface to see how it's coming together and not add too much water. So rolling it all together until it just barely forms a dough ball, and then I put it in the fridge to cool while I make the filling. I like to use Granny Smith apples or apples that are fairly tart in my apple pie. They also hold together really well, and I have about 6 cups, maybe a little bit more of apples in here. I'll make sure to put a recipe for you guys down in the description box below. But I like my apple pies to be piled high. For this versatile dough, after it's risen for 1 hour, you can put it in the refrigerator and let it rise in the refrigerator overnight. I think that really enriches the flavor. But when I am in a bit of a hurry and I don't want to wait till the next day, I just let it rise for 1 hour after mixing it. And then I shape it into whatever I'm making and rise again for 1 hour. And then I go ahead and bake. This one recipe usually makes about 24 rolls. And I like to split that in half and sometimes make cinnamon rolls and the other half make dinner rolls. But for today, I have doubled the recipe with the intention of making 2 batches of cinnamon rolls and some donuts as well. And I even had some to spare, so I made a little bit of dinner rolls. In our family, cinnamon rolls are made on special days, birthdays, holidays, special occasions, or maybe even church gatherings. In my husband's home, cinnamon rolls were a special weekend thing that his mom would put together on Friday and they would have on Saturday mornings. By now, I think you realize how nostalgic and sentimental I am as a person, and I would love to know what are some of your favorite family passed on traditions or recipes. Maybe we can share those down in the comments and kind of pass some recipes around. It's always so fun to hear what you all have as traditions and what you make all around the world. So go ahead and post one of your family favorite traditional recipes in the comments below. I can't wait to hear what you say. This next recipe is inspired by the book Farmer Boy, which is written by Laura Ingalls, and it's about a little boy who is very rambunctious and shares his stories of living on a farm, and I love all the tidbits he shares of his mother working in the kitchen. And this is an excerpt from that book. It says, Almanzo took the biggest donut from the pan and bit off its crisp end. Mother was rolling out the golden dough, slashing it into long strips, rolling and doubling and twisting the strips. Her fingers flew. You could hardly see them. The strips seemed to twist themselves under her hands and to leap into the big copper kettle of swirling hot fat. Plump! They went into the bottom, sending up bubbles. Then quickly they came popping up to float and slowly swell, till they rolled themselves over, their pale golden backs going into the fat and their plump brown bellies rising out of it. They rolled over, Mother said, because they were twisted. Some woman made a newfangled shape, round with a hole in the middle. But round donuts wouldn't turn themselves over. Mother didn't have time to waste turning donuts. It was quicker to twist them. I want to thank you all for joining me here today. The recipes will be down in the description box below, and all of them are so simple and truly inspired by my American heritage. I hope you will all meet me next week for another video on restoring home, family, and spirit. I'll catch you next time. Love you lots.